Welcome to EduPlanet 21's 10-Minute Tuesdays, a series of conversations with experts in education. My name is Taylor Parks, and I'm the Director of Customer Success with EduPlanet 21. We're excited to be speaking with instructional leader from Regional School Unit 40 in Union, Maine, about her Understanding by Design journey. And I'd like to welcome Christina Watton, Director of Instruction.
Thank you.
So it's great to have you with us today to share your knowledge, Christina. Can you begin by sharing a little bit about yourself and your district to give our listeners some background?
Sure. Thank you, Taylor. Thanks for such a great intro. So I work for RSU 40, which is in Midcoast, Maine. Our district is just around 1,800 students, and we have students from preschool through grade 12, 7 schools in our district. And personally, I have been in this district. This is my 7th year. I began my career years before that as an ed tech in one of our day treatment programs here in RSU 40. I then went on to start another behavioral program in a neighboring district and worked there for a number of years, and still kept consulting with team members in this district. Now I am responsible for helping students, staff, and the community of 7 schools. And I'm very excited about our work that we've been doing around Understanding by Design, and most recently with EduPlanet. So I'm excited to share some of that work with you.
So as your CSM, who's actually seen you in action at RSU 40, I can say it is very clear that you value relationships and you put a lot of time in that. So that's really wonderful. So let's talk about your EBD journey. So you're in year 4. Can you share some information about the past 3 years and what your approach has been each year?
So we started out, it was 2016-17, and we really wanted to get a volunteer group of people to learn about Understanding by Design, to really kind of put it out there in a way that we weren't fearful that would be taken away by our district. Oftentimes things are kind of just shoved down teachers' throats, and it doesn't go as smoothly as it could if you get teacher buy-in. So we formed a small group pre-K through 12 to begin learning about Understanding by Design. We hired Jay McTighe and Associates, Roni Carter, and she came and taught some teachers, school leaders, so principals. There were a few assistant principals, and our curriculum director at the time about Understanding by Design. We looked ahead to the next 5 years and talked about teaching and learning and really what we wanted for our school district. And we developed a 4-year curriculum cycle because we knew we couldn't do it all at once. And again, we wanted to kind of build that teacher buy-in. We looked at the status of our curriculum across all of the grade levels and content areas. And then, so that was kind of the first year. In year 2, so 2017-18, our focus was building capacity and establishing a baseline. So we took our curriculum cycle and shared it with staff, and then we talked about horizontally and vertically aligning our curriculum, which has been coming back year after year. And I feel like this is the year we're actually going to be able to get to that. So just know when you're starting out, this is a process, and you learn the most by just going through the process. So then we decided to look at our curriculum cycle, and over the summer really put some work into our ELA curriculum and start there, where we had done the most work in professional development around literacy. And so we felt like our teachers would be the most ready to start there. We engaged with our principals and tried to look at our Marshall evaluation process and do a crosswalk between the two. At that point in time, there was a cohort A and a cohort B. And oftentimes when you do that around districts, teachers feel like they're either part of the club or they're not part of the secret club. So I would recommend really being transparent in communications with staff and really trying to include everybody at some level when you're doing your training, so people don't feel like they're left out, but also making it clear so people don't feel like they have to be done, because this is a process that you are really never done. This year, we asked all of our teachers to have 1 unit complete in stage 1 by December that they could try out and then bring data back together. That was really successful. We asked for feedback and were told, many teachers had like up to 30 units designed up to stage one, especially at our high school. We have some really well-formed teams, and they have professional learning time every other day at the high school. And we really tried to just make deliberate connections between understanding by design, our professional learning community model, and our Marshall professional practice model.
So one of the things that you've made clear, and that I've enjoyed seeing as I work with you and RSU 40, is that transparency and communication has been key. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So starting off the year, I knew when I was a principal, every Sunday, I would kind of write out a message to my staff saying, this is where I'm going to be at this week. Let me know what you need, give them any updates, tie any connections to the professional learning work we were doing together. So I wanted to bring that to this role and really communicate with everybody across the district. I knew going in, I knew what the elementary had been doing the last 7 years, and I really needed to connect with the middle and high school and just make us all one team. So I used a model that our high school principal uses, and she has a communication that goes out to her staff in Google Docs. And so you can just email collaborators. So just one running list of everything I've communicated with the staff the entire year. I try to make it really important things. Sometimes I will send out other emails, but pretty much the majority of my communications have come through this one document because teachers are busy. Everybody's busy. Our entire staff are busy. And they don't have time to be hunting through emails. So they can go to this one place. It's where you can sign up for PD. It's where, dates are for summer training. It's where I give updates on EduPlanet. It's where I share all the feedback that we receive at our workshop days. And it goes out to all of our staff. I think that's really important because ed techs, they work so hard. I started out as an ed tech. Bus drivers work so hard. They should know what's going on in our district. They're talking to parents on a daily basis. They see in the supermarkets, they see them out in the community. I feel like it's really important for them to know what's going on in our district, even if they're not at the table because of funding. They have a voice, and I love for them to be able to send me an email and say, hey, I saw you were doing this. Can I join that training? And it just opens up the doors to possibilities that you might not know are out there.
It's something you actually just mentioned that I've been wanting to ask you about as well. I think you do a great job collecting feedback and actually putting that into action. So could you talk a little bit about how you go about collecting that feedback and why you do that?
Sure. So I think it was last year, it might have been the year before, our group of elementary principals met together regularly and really decided we needed to capture what was going on during our professional learning community time. We had this time, we knew great work was happening, but we would get questions from first grade, a question from sixth grade, and just really were struggling with how can we capture this? How can we make it streamlined? So we created a very simple exit ticket that each grade level had the template for, and every time they met together as a professional learning community, we would have kind of standardized essential questions in there for the teachers to answer, and then a spot just for them to ask administration questions. We then assigned each administrator to 2 grade levels or content areas, and each week we did a Google Meet that we would get together, go through these questions. For example, when we did the EduPlanet rollout earlier this school year, it was a voluntary approach, and we had, I think we had 30 something teachers come to our training day, but really wanted to capture feedback from them. So they gave us feedback on various questions that we asked. For example, what questions do you still have after the training? What support do you need to continue your exploration of EduPlanet 21? To what degree do you think it will help us reach our RSU 40 goal of student achievement? We have a curriculum goal for our district. So just wanted to get teachers' feedback. And then I shared the document. I actually have it right here. So it's from October 23rd. shared the document with the entire staff so they could see what their peers are saying. Because I feel like you'll get pockets of either really positive charged people who want to just change the world today, or people who really want to stay in what they've been doing for a really long time. So I feel like it's really important to share the feedback from everybody. And then I kind of just tried to answer the really hard questions, or if there were misconceptions in the feedback, I would put that in our communication and just try to address the elephants in the room and clarify information for teachers as well.
Christina, it's been lovely speaking with you today, and thank you so much for sharing your insights. I look forward to talking to you next time about where you're going from here.
Thank you.